everybody, it's Kenny K here again, and I'm actually really doing a review because for one of my last reviews had a comment that I had before, that my audio was weak. I had new audio, tried it, but I didn't get the gist of it, so I'm using my old audio again, hoping the green line still burns, and hopefully you hear me. So that's the important part about this movie called Magic from 1978. It gets a 6.8. It does get a 6 from me. Mostly not because I saw it twice now. Mostly because the performance from Anthony Hopkins, a young Anthony Hopkins with light brown hair, and his name is Corky. We have Margaret. Her name is Peggy. We have Burgess Meredith. Remember? Come on, you bum. Suck his teeth out. Come on, you bum. From Rocky, the trainer, the hardest nails trainer from Rocky. He's actually very good in this as Ben Green. And then you get Ed Lauter as Duke. Now, he may not seem familiar, but I've seen him in a few things. He has a familiar face. He has a real familiar face. And the movie is about Corky wants to be a magician. He starts like his dad, and he starts out by doing magic tricks. He doesn't succeed, and at some point he gets a nervous breakdown. He starts to talk to the audience like, fuck you, you think you can do it better? Come here on stage and do it, you piece of shit. He's really going off the deep end, the rails. And somebody suggests, why don't you try ventriloquism? You know how to do it, you have a doll. Okay, why not? Ventriloquism, that's his thing. He has a doll called Fats. He's the one who talks, okay, through ventriloquism. He even gets popular, and his manager is Ben Green, Burgess Meredith, and he gets a show on the Johnny Carson show and other shows. And he even gets a contract on the ABC network for a 10 or 20 episode deal. But he has to do a med check, a medic check. And he says, I don't want to do it. Why? It's pure respectful thing. I don't want to do it. But why? I just don't want to do it. He goes out of the office. He calls him back. And he says, why don't you want to do it? Because I don't wanna. I don't wanna. He clicks on the phone. He gets out of Dodge. He gets the fuck away. He goes with a cab to the Catskills in, I think that's New York, a lake. And he goes there because an old crush of his is opening. She keeps you have the summer lodges, she keeps it open. But it's completely deserted now in winter time, called Peggy and Margaret, played by Margaret. At some point, they get to know each other better than this and that, and you see that Fats is getting more jealous and more jealous and more jealous. And are you going to Peggy again? Yeah, why? Oh no, I'm just asking. I'll stay here. And that's at some point, so they're almost like in a relationship having a fight. The movie wants you to let you know or think that Fats isn't controlled by Corky, but a doll with an own conscience. Later, of course, that differs. Now, he goes to play with, he shows Peggy a card trick that he did in the beginning of the movie. It fails. He becomes, fucking stupid card. This is actually the second time, the sign of his of the iron block, you know. Kook, kook. He's insane. He says, do it again, do it again. And she's, what's up with you? And she says, I'm scared. You don't need to. He's sweating like a pig. He takes a card like this. Is it this one? She says, yes. And he's, oh. It's like he's almost has an orgasm. It's like if he doesn't have Fats with him, he can do magic tricks, but Fats needs to be with him. Now, in the meantime, they evolve in a romantic relationship, and he at some point says, why do we not just go, because that place is dead as fuck, and in the summertime it doesn't bring in a lot of people. She can't do it alone, and her husband is constantly on the road, but she says, I would like to, but my husband, he's a drunk and he beats me, and I want to leave him, but I want to give him that respect of saying I want to leave you. So, but he's not home yet. Now, in the meantime, they fuck. The woman said, bring Fats with me. No. So they just have sex. And then the doll, for some reason, knows they had sex. You smell like sex, Corky. And good job. And he's doing like this when he comes back home to his lodge. And Ben, the manager, finds him. And he's there. It's funny, he always has this glass, this big Cuban cigar. Opens it up, takes off the glass container, just throws it against the wall. Glass everywhere. He does that in his office too. And he starts to smoke it. His acting at that moment is so good. We know Burgess Meredith. Usually, I know him as Mickey. Mostly as Mickey. He's an actor. He's been around the block. A dozen movies. But I know him as Mickey. Come on, you piece of slow shit. Hit that back harder and this and that. Here he's really constrained and he's saying, listen, I'm here to help you. Can you leave Fats alone for 5 minutes and just sit right there? If you can do that, everything is okay. Oh, I can't do that, of course. And then he's sitting there. You have one of those cigars? He takes one. He gives him one. Okay. They smell good. How many time has passed? With a cigar, 49 seconds. Okay. Yeah. I'm here because I know the owner of the place. How much time has passed? At some point he says 2 minutes and a half. And then he says, you know what you're doing with me, right? He says, yes. You're dragging me to hell. And he says, I know. And he takes Fats and he starts to ramble everything out that he can. Woohoo, I am Fats, the amazing doll that can talk, that's alive. Woohoo. And he stands up and he goes back and immediately Corky takes Ben and he goes, leave me alone. I'm gonna get help for you. Okay? I'm gonna get help for you. So he goes and then he says, what I'm gonna do. You have to kill him, but I can't. You have to. What we want? Me. And the doll yells, me. He goes after him. He hears cracking. He looks after. What's behind him? He's being clubbed by the doll multiple times in his face, blood spatters. And then he tries to drown him. He's still a bit alive. He's struggling, but he drowns him. He killed Ben Green. Now at this time, another problem arises. Duke arrives. And Duke already knows that there's something going on between them. And at some point, when she's doing the laundry, he says, "You fucked him, right? You fucked him good, you bitch." And she says, "No." She lies. But she says, "But I wanted to." And then slaps her in the face. And then the day after, he wants to know more. But because there's also the Rolls Royce that Ben Green came with. He says, "Whose car is that?" "Ah, it's my friend's car. He couldn't get it out of the mud, so he took a cab." "Okay, I have keys. You try to get it out of." "Oh, no problem. I want to drive I always wanted to drive a Rolls Royce," Duke says. But he drives it out of the mud like nothing. It's not buried in the mud. Now he gets to thinking. So what he wants to do is first question Corky out on a fishing trip on a canoe, and he has caught something very big, and Corky's already holding one of the spatulas, to row, and what it seems to be is just a stick. Now he's telling these weird questions and "Are you in love with her?" And he says, "No, we're just awkward questions." And now at some point he says, "I like to go home." Now Duke manages to get inside his home when he thinks he's not home in the lodge. When he's gone, he used a lockpick or a key that he had, spare keys. And this is a little bit creepy because every time he goes to a room, the doll follows with the head like this. You see him staring at him, and then when he goes to another room, the doll goes like this, staring at him. And then he goes to the doll, and he sees, and then the doll takes a switchblade, and then stabs him like 10 times until he's dead. Now you would think, fuck, Fats is alive. No, Corky was behind a sheet that was where he was holding Fats, on a chair, and his hands through his hand, and using the knife with his hand. So, okay, he killed him. Now, again, Corky thinks Fats is doing all this shit, not him. Then he says, "Okay, we need to do, what do we need to do, Fats? What would you need to do?" "I got a suggestion. We wrap Ben Green and this big torso with a rock in the lake. They'll never find him. And we have to get rid of Peggy. That's our last alibi. We have to get rid of her. Nobody comes here." He said, I can't. I love her." "You don't love her. You just love your dick." "You just love your dick." And at some point, there is this moment when he goes with Fats to Peggy, and he wants to ask her to immediately leave without waiting for Duke. She says, no, I can't. I own that much, and this and this and that I'm going with you, and that I want a divorce, blah, blah, blah. And the doll says to be an asshole. He says, "You know why he does the car trick? To fuck every bimbo he wants to." And she's like, get out. She's like, of course, really offended. And that's just the thing. I'll keep that for at the end of my analogy, because this is a spoiler alert. So the movie is basically Fats and Corky. Corky isn't so bad like Fats. Fats is bad. But Fats isn't doesn't have a mind on its own. It needs Corky to operate and think. But Corky, when connected with Fats, he becomes this evil thing, this mean-spirited thing. His slow descent from madness started with his failing on stage, then with the cards at the Peggy's house, and then of course with the doll committing suicide. His ventriloquism is what he thought wasn't ventriloquism, it's fact. No, it is him who's talking like that. It is him who's killing these people. So at some point he goes to Peggy. Peggy's in her bedroom. He pretends that Fats is on the door. He says, sorry, Corky wants to say sorry for what he said. He whittled a wooden heart for you. I'll leave it here for the door. Goodbye. And he goes away. Now we see her going to the door to open it. We see him standing behind a closet, and he's standing there with the switchblade, and he's like trembling. Then fade to black. So these are the spoilers. We see him falling in a chair, big hole in the knife full of blood, and you think he just killed Peggy. No, he hit him. He stuck himself with the blade, because he knew that his life was going to shit with Fats. He knew he can't control himself because of Fats. He's so completely mad that Fats is almost something that is binded with him, that latches on like a parasite. And even when he's dying, he said, I couldn't do it. I stuck it to myself I stuck myself so deep. I'm gonna die. And then Fats is saying, can you lay next to me? Don't let me be dumb. Don't let me have the last word. No, Fats, no, Fats. And then you see Peggy eventually arriving at the log cabin and saying, if your offer's still open, she has a heart, because she was really flattered by the heart. I'm still open for it, but it's one chance only. And of course he can't hear it, and it's a really sad ending, because he's dead because of that shit puppet. Okay, he, like I said, he was already from the beginning, he was a really unhinged person, and Fats was the one with the popularity that just completely snapped in him. And yeah, he became crazy. He became crazy, and he knew this, that he was unhinged. That's why he didn't want to do the medical test. He knew this. He couldn't take the pressure. He knew that he had to get the fuck away. It wasn't ventriloquism. Jesus, ventriloquism. Sorry, English isn't my first language. I'm trying here. Ventriloquism. Yeah. So it was a good idea, but the problem was that for some reason or another, he wanted to be, because his dad on his lying deathbed said, I want you to be popular. He uses Fats to the ventriloquism thing, and he becomes popular. Not the magician thing. He can't do that. And you see that again when he's not with Fats, with Peggy alone. He can do that, but not in a way that a real magician can do it. Smooth, and so yeah. It's a really good movie. It has, the acting's good. You have some really tense moments. Is he gonna kill Peggy? Is he not gonna kill Peggy? Who knows? Because this looks like it's a grimy movie. This looks like a movie that's gonna end bad, and it does in a way. But luckily, Peggy survives. But she was already depressed. How depressed is she gonna be now? Right? Um, the Everybody does their job. You know, the manager is the manager. Corky is the unhinged but wants to be popular ventriloquist. Ventriloquism. Listen, that I can be a PhD in English here. But um, yeah, Duke. I mean, Ed Lauter. I know him from movies. I can't pin down which ones. Well, I've seen him multiple times because he has a beard like mine, but on the pictures of IMDb, he doesn't have a beard, and usually he doesn't have a beard. In the movies where I saw him, and he didn't have a beard. He plays really the tense, aggressive drunk that knows they're fucking around. It's really good. The movie keeps trying to think that Fats is alive and that Corky isn't controlling him with that kill of Duke. Then he's behind the curtain, so that's the moment that you know that that it's not Fats. It's certainly not Fats. I mean, I know it wasn't Fats the moment that he killed Burgess Meredith, you know, Ben Green. Fats called him Gangrene. He also had a nickname, but it's not important. Basically, the nickname suggested that he gets things done. In any case, Magic, 1978. It's a psychological horror. They say slasher movie, but slasher movie, 2 kills? No. Psychological horror movie, but that's where Anthony Hopkins shines in Silence of the Lambs. But there he's already completely a nutbag. Here he becomes a nutbag. Great, just great movie, great acting, good tension, good moments of tension, creepy at moments. A doll is always creepy, especially those ventriloquism dolls that with their wide eyes, and I hate dolls. But if you like this video, please subscribe. See you next time. Bye. And I hope for the person who commented on the audio, I really hope, I'm still seeing green here, that you hear this video better. Adieu, goodbye, auf Wiedersehen, ciao, bye bye.